What's today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, people. So I am on my way to Capital Seafood, which is actually the first place I came to with Tan, and we actually had dim sum. That's Tan and that's Melissa. They're amazing. So we are actually here for like a team lunch. Which I'm excited for, but I kind of told you guys about this yesterday, that I was actually going to have lunch and have dim sum. So today is dim sum with actually one of the managers from my old job who actually came to my new job as well. So yeah, here we go, Capital Seafood. Lots of food. Look at this. We just sat down. This looks like a lot of food. Hey, these cucumbers are so good. Hey everyone, so it is Wednesday night, and I thought I'd do a little something, or maybe start a little series on this vlog, and I'm going to call Wednesdays Wine Down Wednesdays. Although this isn't wine, but I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so Wine Down Wednesdays is going to be kind of like a weekly series where I'll just talk about things from relationships to businesses to just, you know, we're just winding down. We're just gonna kind of talk about things that's on our minds. So the reason this is not wine today is because I've actually been dealing with a infection from a recent root canal, and I am on antibiotics, so I can't drink right now. So this is actually Kool-Aid. Yo, when the last time you had a glass of Kool-Aid? And it's refreshing. Okay, so today's topic. So I figured, since today is December 13th, 2017, that I would talk about relationships. And this day is actually very significant to me because technically this would have been my 9th wedding anniversary if me and my husband were still together. So I figured, let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about marriage and divorce and all of that good stuff. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I figured, why not? It's Wind Down Wednesdays. So I guess the real thing that I want to say about relationships is, you know, breakups are hard. I would never discount that. Breakups are hard, and I think they're hard on both parties, no matter, you know, I think it's just hard, period, for the person that wants to leave and then for the person that was left, or vice versa. Like, you know, it's hard because, for one thing, the person that probably wants to leave, that was a struggle for them. They had to, you know, one, it probably took them so long to get to that point where it was time for them to go. And they knew it deep inside, but they still loved you. But they, you know, we have to think about ourselves in certain situations, in most situations, in all situations. Like, you have to think about yourself before you can think about someone else. You have to love yourself before you can love someone else. It's just like when you're on a plane and they say you put your oxygen mask on first before you decide to help someone. Like, you have to make sure you're good before you can even begin to love or give anything to anyone else. So, you know, I feel like for the person that may break it off in a relationship, that was a difficult decision. But I also know that being on the other side of that is difficult, because depending on how it came about, you may feel blindsided, you may feel very hurt, rejected. Like, you know, there's just this wave of feelings that you get from that, and especially if you weren't expecting it. But the one thing I can say from my own perspective of no longer being in a relationship that I was in for over 10 years is I think the best thing two people can do for each other when they are in love, or when they love one another, is separate. If you want to continue to love each other when the relationship is maybe coming to a point where maybe there's beginning to be resentment or hard feelings or anger or whatever it is, I think it's better for you to part ways before you allow it to get too much. Now, I will say that the thing that I learned from a very close friend is try everything that you can to save your marriage first. So do everything that you can, or your relationship, like, go to counseling, go to couples therapy, talk it out, like write those letters if that's the way to communicate. Like, do whatever you can to make it work. And then once you've done all you can honestly step back and say, you know what, I've tried. I've done everything that I possibly could to make this work, and now we have to part ways. I think that's really important. And for the healing process, I can honestly say, it's gonna hurt, but it makes you stronger. It makes you more resilient. And after you break up, there's all types of things that people tend to do. People tend to work out. People tend to get more invested in their work or open businesses or whatever. So it's also a good time for you to kind of do things that maybe you weren't doing before, or because sometimes we get so wrapped up in our love for people that we sometimes forget our hobbies, or we stop hanging out with our girls or whatever, and so I think at that time, it's a really good time to kind of reevaluate who you are, your wants, your likes, your dislikes, and it just allows you to be a little bit more open and carefree. So, breakups are inevitable. I think that as you grow older, at least as what I've seen as I grow older, that I have a better understanding of why it happens. Going through my particular situation, I think definitely opened my eyes to see that, when someone is happy, when someone is unhappy, they have to make the right choice for themselves in order to be happy. And that, I think, goes for anyone. And that was a lesson that I learned in this. So, for Wind Down Wednesdays, I just want to say, when you love hard. Yes, you are taking a risk. You are taking a risk of having your heart broken, but what is love if you don't give it your all? What is love if you don't give it 100%? And what is growth without in order for you to grow, there has to be something that breaks, because that allows you to mend, to heal, and to grow. So, it's you get this wonderful experience of loving someone, but then if and when you lose them, you get this wonderful experience of growth. So, that's Wind Down Wednesdays. I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday. I love y'all. Thank you so much for your support, for everything that you're giving me. And I thought I had my phone with me. I want to give a shout out to two young women that have been so encouraging this week on just giving me comments and things like that. So tune in to tomorrow's blog. And I will have their names and just maybe like one or two of their comments up, just so I can just say thank you to them. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been giving some likes, that have been reaching out and just sharing and showing some love. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday by the time you see this, and thank you for joining me on Wind Down Wednesdays. You guys have a good night, morning, day, afternoon, whatever time it is, and just take time to love someone. Deuces.